Hi guys, it's time for girl power because today I want to talk about the 5 best metal albums by female-led bands, and I will have 2 honorable mentions, and then at the end an insane family tree that connects 5 out of those 7 bands in this video across borders, across languages, and across genres. So let's get going. Number 5 is Burning Witches. They came with an album in May 2023 called The Dark Tower. Burning Witches are a Swiss heavy metal kind of power metal band, and there's nothing complex about this music. It's kind of straight out of the playbook, let's say. It's, Accept, Udo, Judas Priest, a little bit of Iron Maiden. They have kind of theoretical singing, like King Diamond and stuff like that. And this album has some really, the title song is really good. And then they have 2 cover songs. There is a cover song of Shot in the Dark by Ozzy, which is really good. And then I Want to Be Somebody by Wasp. That's a really good one. So that band is, it's kind of wearing their influences on the sleeves. They're not trying to be anything that they're not. And really good, great musicians, good mix, good sound. Number 4 on my list of best female-led albums of 2023 is Nervosa with their album Jailbreak. That came out in September 2023. So there was a lot of changes in that band, and kind of the only one left is Priga Amaral, the founding member. And she took over the singing on top of playing the guitar. And you can feel that on this album. There is some different vibe, different energy. I mean, this is kind of a, very driven thrash metal, speed metal at times, mixed with some death metal. So it's a really, really good, solid album. So the next one I didn't really see coming. On the 3rd spot is Butcher Babies. They came with kind of 2 albums, Eye for an Eye and Till the World's Blind, in July. But Eye for an Eye was like a collection of singles that had been released earlier, and then Till the World's Blind was more new stuff. And as I said, this band is a surprise for me because I think it was the name of the band that kind of put me off, and I just thought, oh, it's just 2 pretty girls. And these are pretty girls, but I fell into that kind of, masculine, toxic masculinity fallacy of thinking, oh, that can't be good. But it's really good, actually. I saw them 2 times live. Just recently now, and then last summer, and they are fucking great. So Eye for an Eye is a little bit, let's say, more poppy, softer songs, but Till the World's Blind is heavier, darker somehow. What I really like about this band is that they don't waste any time. The songs are just kind of short to the point. There is no excessive soloing or anything, and it's fun. And to see this band live is fucking amazing. Somewhere hovering between metalcore, nu metal, speed metal, thrash metal. So it definitely has some sort of a uniqueness. And those 2 girls, they sing like angels. But it's not just them. I mean, the other guys in the band are really, really good. So my 2nd best album of 2023 is Nita Strauss, The Call of the Void. Nita, everybody knows Nita. I mean, you can't open a rock and roll magazine without seeing Nita, and she's been playing with, Alice Cooper, Demi Lovato, and the Iron Maidens actually in the past. And on this album, she brings on a lot of different collaborators, and I feel that gives this album a very kind of diverse mix somehow. I mean, she has Anders Frieden from In Flames, she has Lizzie Hale from Hailstorm, David Armian from Disturbed, and that kind of, I really like it because she's a guitar girl, and a goddess in that sense. But it's not necessarily a guitar album. It's a great rock and roll album with a lot of diversity and a lot of good songs, amazing sound, and I think she did a really good job on this album. Before going into the number 1 band, what has made women so much more visible in metal in the last, let's say, 10, 15 years. And I have my theories, but I would be curious to hear about yours. My theories is that there is more focus on kind of diversity, inclusion, and representation. And that goes across the board, with let's say labels, record labels, it goes with the festivals. There is more demand, like, let's bring the girls in. This was not the case like 30, 40 years ago when I was starting listening to metal. We had very few ones, and one of them might come up later in the honorable mentions. The social attitudes has changed. I mean, I would have thought it weird when I was like 15 that girls were getting on the stage there, I don't find that weird anymore. I don't even think about it. Obviously, I think also that the online platforms and social media and how you can make music yourself now, distribute it, you can go on YouTube, you can have social media accounts on Instagram and all this stuff. You can actually kind of bypass a lot of the gatekeepers that used to be there, which are people maybe like me or, that are older. So they kind of are more conservative, and that gives those women and metal girls that gives them a chance to kind of bypass this, and that's great. Also, I think that in the recent years we've had a lot of good inspiration and role models. We've had, you know, Arch Enemy, we had Nightwish, we had Ginger, and you know, a lot of other bands, plus some of the older ones that have been there for longer. But that's very important. When girls see other girls doing it, they know they can and they should try. So what do you think? What has made this change? Please subscribe to this video and like it if you are happy so far. My #1 album of female-led metal bands in 2023 is Shades of Sorrow by Crypta. That's their second album, came out in August 2023. And Krypta is a Brazilian death metal band that kind of mixes classic death metal sound with modern edge and some kind of South American Brazilian vibe somehow. You can hear that. But let's actually hear what I had to say about Krypta, because they featured on my top 10 albums of 2023. Now, that's a really, really cool band. They have such a high energy. They're so qualified. And the singer, Fernanda Lira, she's just amazing. This is actually kind of one of the better death metal bands or albums of this year, I would say. It's amazingly well produced and mixed, and I think this band is kind of on its way to become one of the big ones out there. I think everybody in the genre kind of knows about Krypta by now, and that's impressive after just 2 albums, actually. So yeah, I think that Shades of Sorrow by Krypta is kind of a must listen for any fan of any sort of extreme metal, whether it's, you know, death metal or thrash metal or speed metal or even black metal. There is some really, really good stuff on there. And I just bought tickets to see them in the spring, and I'm so much looking forward to it, because this band has some energy and they have catchy hooks and riffs and stuff that kind of just pulls you in. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised that I'll be there in the front headbanging my ass off. Can I say that? Now to the honorable mentions. The first honorable mention is Nikki Stringfield. She's the guitar player of the Iron Maidens. That's a cover band of Iron Maiden stuff, which I actually saw live. They're great. Highly recommended. She came with an album in September 2023 called Apocrypha. And it's her first solo album. It's kind of sort of a melodic hard rock mixed with metal somehow. She does a cover of Kiss from a Rose by, I think, what's his name, Seal or something like that. The only thing I would say is missing on this album, and I think this album didn't really kind of live up to its full potential, the sound and the mix is not so great. But she's singing there, she's playing the guitar. These are good songs, and I could see easily that there are songs on there that could even kind of reach mainstream popularity. The second honorable mention is kind of the grandmother of all this stuff, you know, that's Doro. She came with an album, I think now in September or October, called Conquerors Forever Strong and Proud. And it's a really fitting title because, yeah, as I said, she's kind of the grandma of all this. I mean, Doro has been around since I started listening to metal, and obviously was one of those kind of weird one-outs, you know, because she was a girl in a very male-dominated world. It's her 14th studio album, and there's nothing new here. If you're expecting to hear some revolutionary heavy metal, you're not going to be hearing that on this album. This is really just straight by the book, German, accept Udo style heavy metal, but it's good. It's good stuff, and fans of Doro will really like this. She sings 2 songs with Rob Halford from Judas Priest, Living After Midnight, the Judas Priest song, and then they do a cover of Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart, which is kind of a funny one. But yeah, it's a good, great sounding album. It's fun to listen to. She has still amazing vocals. I am hoping to manage to see her at one of the heavy metal festivals here in the Czech Republic in the summer where she's playing. Accept will be there as well, so it will be a double dose of German greatness. So what do you think? Did I forget something? Please comment if there is a band or an album that I forgot to mention that should belong on this list in your opinion. And now for that insane family tree that connects 5 of those bands across borders, languages, and genres. When I was working on this, let's say, preparing for this video, I just realized that there's a connection here. And it's insane, actually. So let's start the family tree with the band Nervosa. So that was founded by what's her, Prima Amaral, and then she got this girl Fernanda Lira and the drummer Luana Damet. They left Nervosa in 2020. They go on and start Crypta. In Crypta comes Sonia Anubis. Sonia Anubis had been playing for Burning Witches from 2018 to 2020. And then Burning Witches right now has Courtney Cox, who has been a guitarist for the Iron Maidens. And in the Iron Maidens from 2011 to 2015 was Nita Strauss. And guess who is a guitar player in the Iron Maidens right now? Nikki Stringfield. So 5 of those bands connect through Nervosa, through Crypta, through Burning Witches, and then into the Iron Maidens. It's actually really, really interesting because I don't remember a lot of this in the kind of, let's say, the male part of the metal where, because, we're talking Brazilian band, we're talking about a band from Switzerland, we're talking about American bands. These are people and persons and women and girls that live all over the place, and it's so interesting. I mean, it was big news just if a British singer was singing in an American band or an American guitarist playing in a UK band. I mean, back in the days. So yeah, this is that insane family tree. So check out my top 10 albums in general of 2023. There are some bands on there that I didn't even know by the beginning of this year, so you'll be curious about that. Not furious. And then this you could be furious about. This is my 5 worst albums. I'm sure you're gonna disagree with me on some of that stuff.